Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. I have here Kat Nieh. She is a dedicated dating clarity coach, passionate about empowering individuals on their quest for meaningful relationships. Her unique approach centers on providing singles with the necessary clarity and confidence to attract the right partner. Utilizing her signature framework, Kat skillfully guides her clients through transforming their dating experiences. She focuses on boosting self-confidence, elevating their outlook on dating, and instilling the courage to actively co-create their ideal relationships. Through her coaching, Kat enables her clients to navigate the complexities of dating with a clear, focused vision of what they truly seek in a relationship. Yay! How
Hi.
are you, Kat? It's nice to see you today, and I'm so happy we get to connect. Yay!
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, Gina. I am so grateful to be here and be able to share these amazing, practical, and effective relationship building skills. I think it's
Yes. Now, speaking of relationships, so I had horrible relationships in my past, from like junior high, high school, college, even to my marriage. Everything failed. It wasn't until 2020, well, actually, I should say technically 2019, that I met my now husband. And we actually met literally in August. We got engaged end of September. We got married. Well, this is a side note. I don't know if anyone knows this, but we actually got married to the clerk's office in
oh,
uh in October 15th, and then we had our wedding February 1st, 2020. And our marriage is so much better, and I'm so much happier. And I really have to say, it's probably because I became sober. Yeah. So I healed all my childhood stuff and did all that, whatever I needed to do, healing work. And now I'm just in a happier relationship. I'm so fulfilled in my heart. And I'm so happy that you're able to help a lot of women or in men. I'm not sure if you do both. But help them navigate this journey because it's hard in relationships, even with like brothers, sisters, family, whoever. So I would love for you to go ahead and share as a clarity coach. How do you approach unique challenges faced by singles and in sobriety, let's say, when navigating the dating scene?
yeah. First to say, you did all the work and really led you to get the results you wanted. So, yay, good for you. I'm so happy for you.
Thank
And I
you.
just want to share that we were never taught how to do all this,
Right.
right? We learn from our parents, learn from people around us, from our friends, like we learn from media, right? Like TV and all that stuff to learn how to be in a relationship or what it looks like, right? And oftentimes, I just want to share a little side bit of like, just a side story. Over the holidays, I was watching TV with my brother, and I was like looking at the TV. I'm like, no, oh my God, are people thinking this is okay to communicate like this? Of yelling at each other or trying to talk over each other or just like having that. Yeah, it just like, I just was watching this dramatic unfolding of conversations between a couple, between, father and son, and just going, no, this is not how we should be communicating. What we see on TV is just a dramatized version of it. And that doesn't really help you build really good communication skills. And I just want to share, like, back then I felt, I was very, very single. That's why I embarked on this whole journey. And I totally understand how nowadays dating and relationships could feel really hard and really complicated. And back then I was a workaholic, so it was easy for me to dive into work, right? And maybe, like you said, for sobriety, people dive into alcohol or something else to escape their problems because they just didn't know how to deal with it or figure it out. So I think that's why I came to this approach to go, wait, choosing a partner is such an important part of your life. This is one of the most important person. Like if you understand, right? Of meeting a really good partner means that because you're highly influenced by your partner, by your decisions, your life choices, your mental well-being, all that's wrapped around, this person you spend majority of your life with, right? And if you've experienced and have I experienced in my life that I saw how your life partner could either support you and make your life better, or it could sabotage you and make your life even more miserable, right? So that's why I came with this approach of like, how do I set up a really strong foundation for a lasting relationship? And how do I be a better partner myself? And the more I learned, the more I realized, like I said earlier, we were never taught how to do this, right? How we were never taught how to communicate effectively and vulnerably without a hidden agenda. It's always about who's right, who's wrong, right? And those are actually not the right approaches. And
Yeah.
I also just had so much learning to do, right? Like
Yeah.
attachment styles, like I was a nice girl who had to stuff down all my needs and wants to, to make the peace, right? So that's why I wanted to really learn and also now teach and share this now because there's so much bad dating and relationship advice out there. And that's when I realized, I need to go do this. I need to share and counteract all that bad advice. And that's why I am not just calling myself a dating and relationship coach. I call myself a dating clarity coach because my goal and my approach is to give singles more clarity, more hope, and more courage that they can build a deeply connecting, a loving relationship that they've always wanted. That love doesn't have to equal pain. Love doesn't have to equal abandonment, right? More importantly, what you want is possible for you.
I love that, what you just said. I'm so glad you brought up some good points here. Like communication is so important. And yes, we are influenced by the media, right? There's like TVs, movies. This is how love is supposed to look like. And if you don't have this, then you are in the wrong, well, you're with the wrong partner. No, no,
Yeah.
no. We all go through like heartache, even with our what we consider our soulmate. Like even for myself, with the love of my life, the one
Mhm.
that I think I was destined to be with in different lifetimes, perhaps even. um, but we go through stuff still, we still go through our issues and I mean, we're human beings still trying to figure things out here on Earth. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. That's another like media kind of belief that like, oh, once you find the right person, everything is perfect. Everything just works out perfectly. Or once you get married, then it's everything happily ever after, right? Those are all beliefs that actually don't really serve us. Because yes, a relationship does take work. You have to consistently invest time and energy and effort into this relationship because and not just because it's something you have to do, but because the reward you get back can be tenfold. You have someone who has your back, or someone who supports you, who's someone who makes your life better and more enjoyable, right?
right. Oh my goodness. So, talking about vulnerability, I have to share a story with you. So, here I was in I had just met the guy that I was like, oh, he's so cool. I like to hang out with him. But literally, I was in my second year of sobriety. And I told myself and I promised myself I was not going to date anybody but myself. I was going to date
Mhm.
God and myself. That's who I
Mhm.
was going to date because I need to figure out who Gina is as a sober person. And so I did that. So I did not want to date. I didn't want to do anything, but this one kind of caught me by surprise. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's hang out and talk. And we were going to the same church. Actually, we met in street ministry, but I actually did children's ministry, and his son, who is one
Mhm.
year older than my youngest son, is in my class. And I always loved him. I was like, he was so cute. But anyway, when we went out, I felt like I had to be vulnerable and share with him
Mhm.
my story. I'm like, you know what? I have to. Either this guy is going to appreciate that or he's going to run away and and block me or whatever because my story is crazy, right? So can you just actually discuss the importance of vulnerability and open
Ah,
communication?
yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a point that I want to share really clearly with your audience is that in order for you to build trust, you have to extend that trust out first to that person, right? Like you did. You realized this person needs to understand my background and what happened to me, and you vulnerably shared that with your partner, and you gave him the opportunity to go, hey, this is me. Are you okay with that? Can you support me and continue building that life that I want by being very open and very vulnerable around it, right? So yes, you have to choose wisely who you open yourself up to, but ultimately you have to be the person to open up first, to or even ask for help first, right? That when you open yourself up and you share vulnerably, that you're extending your hand out to go, this is me. And that invites them to open up to go, oh, I have a similar experience. Or how could I support and help you? Because you're giving them that understanding of what you're going through or what you have gone through in the past. And I want to share this little like technique with your audience.
Yes, please do.
And here's the way to do it, because I feel like people are like, oh my God, they just like freak out and they just blurt everything out, right? And be like, this is what's going on. They kind of let all it out. And the reaction they get ends up being, oh, I don't know, or they can freak people out or whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be like that, right? So an easy way of doing this is you give them a little trust by sharing a little bit about you. You check if they're okay and if they're still with you before you continue on, right? So here's an example, right? So you could say, kind of best way to open the conversation is go, hey, I need help with something. Do you have time to listen? And then you wait for permission. And the reason why I do that is they might be busy doing something else. Their mindset may be focused on something else that they're not here with you yet. So by asking permission first and getting their engagement, because the conversation is two ways, right? Of going, do you have time to listen to me? And then they say yes, then continue on. And then you could share a little bit about like, hey, this is what I need help with. Like, I'm having a hard time dealing with this issue. And if you already know, tell them exactly what you need support with. Like, can you hear me out? I just need someone to talk to about this. Or can you check up on me every so often to make sure I'm okay? Like whatever it is, right? Just kind of, you tell them exactly how you want to be supported, and then check again. Is this something you could help me with? Right? Then you ask for permission, wait for permission. So it's this engagement of give a little bit context, and then ask for permission and see if they're willing to step in, if they're capable of stepping in. And then when they say yes, then you dive into more details to give them more context of what's going on. And that's the part of giving a little trust, opening up a little vulnerability, seeing if they have, and then check if they have the capacity to help you, and then go ahead and share more. So that also gives you like this little like feeling of, okay, you're worried about sharing everything and then them going, I don't know how to deal with this, but going a little bit at a time of like, here's a little bit of information, can you help? If not, then okay, this person cannot help you, and maybe there's someone else who can, right? But that little trust and a little vulnerability, little by little, helps you build that confidence to have that conversation, but also give you the ability to ask for help from people who can help you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's a great technique. Yes, because it's so funny. So I have a little 8-year-old, right? He always asks me, Mom, can I ask you something? Mom, can I ask you something? So maybe he's already developing the skills.
Yeah.
He's for dating. I hope not. He's only 8 years old. But it's so funny because it totally reminded me of my son saying that. I'm like, oh, maybe he's on the right path and asking me questions. Because at first I wanted to tell him, honey, you don't have to ask mommy. It's okay. Just ask me. I'm mommy. It's okay. But he's so funny. I love him so much. But yes, that is a good technique. Like I was taught in communication that you want to be acknowledged too. This is just communication 101 practically. That
Yeah.
you ask a question and say, for example, like I get home from school, right? And then my little brother was playing video games and I had asked him if he washed the dishes or put the garbage out or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, I'm just gonna call him Henry. Henry, did you do the dishes or whatever? And then nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Henry, did you hear me? Nothing. I'm like, woohoo, Henry. And then finally get acknowledgement. So I can get it acknowledged back and then back. It goes back and forth, right? The acknowledging.
Exactly. And I think that that's the point, right? Of just understanding that people could be busy. They could be busy like focusing on something else. And that's not a personal, like you don't have to take that personal, like, oh, they're not listening to me. Oh, they don't care. Like we add all these stories on top of why people can't support us. When you really ask for help, you realize there are a lot of people out there willing to support you, but it's that barrier you've created yourself of going, and these stories you've put up of going, oh, this, Henry doesn't care, or he doesn't help out at all. Like whatever excuses you put on that, that actually doesn't help you. But when you go, hey, let me like even walking over to him to go, Henry, tap him on the shoulder, kind of interrupt whatever he's doing. I need to ask you something, or hey, I want, can I check with you about something? Just to get that confirmation, like I said, that acknowledgement. That's when you actually have a conversation. It's not a one-way thing, right?
Yeah, I noticed this yesterday. My husband and I, oh my gosh, we're just now watching the show Lost. I know, like way
Oh.
late. Okay. We're like, and we don't know anything about it, right? So we're
Mhm.
just like on the second season. So we've been
Mhm.
like binge watching because it's like so neat. We're like, what? What's so many mysterious things going on? But
Yeah.
anyway, it's funny because I'll be like, like wanting an engagement about the show we were watching, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, and then he would just not make any contact. I'm like, right, Victor? I would tell him, right, Victor? Oh yeah, right, right. I always throw that in there because I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself, you know. I mean, sometimes I do, but
Mhm.
but out loud. But I wanted to ask him for his opinion or what he thinks or
Okay.
how he feels on the show. Anyway, great show, by the way. If you want to ever watch that, anybody in the audience listening, so far so good.
I mean, that's the important part. You're creating engagement. It like you're getting the conversation. You're like, hey, I want to engage with you, right? It's not just you're talking at that person and whatnot. You're just like going, I want you to engage with me, so I'm trying to get your attention. Especially
Right.
nowadays when, like you said, there's like, people watching TV, people playing video games or whatever it is. Like there's so many things that are taking our attention away and not allowing us to be present, and you're not really having that quality time anymore because people are busy with on their phone, on devices, like watching TV, or just being distracted with all the different things you have to do, right, in life and whatnot. But when you kind of take that back and go, hey, I want to connect with you, and take that time to go, I want to hear your opinion, or I would like your support on something. Like when you extend that, that's a part of vulnerability too, of going, I want to connect with you. Are you willing to connect back with me? Right.
Yeah, as you're checking in with them,
Mhm.
and that's very good. I was going to ask you about, okay, so you heard of stonewalling before?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when a couple just don't talk, period. So here we're talking about communication, and then you'll get
yeah.
to where they're not talking at all. Like,
Mhm.
is it like a proud moment or something for each of them? Should they just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like say, hey, let's talk? Like, what should people do when someone's being stonewalled?
Yeah, and I just want to share that the stonewalling didn't happen overnight. It was something that was built over time through not talking about things when you want to talk about something, not putting effort or connecting with your partner. And it really that even is laced with fear of going, I don't know how my partner is going to react to what I'm going to say, so I'd rather not say it. So you create that wall. That's why it's called soulmate. You create that wall up, right? Going, oh, my partner isn't interested. Create a wall up. Oh, my partner, I want to tell my partner something, but I'm worried about how he or she is going to react. Put another wall up. Like you're just building this defense, right? And that's why it feels like, wait, I'm talking to this wall. If you're building a wall, then I'm not going to do it either. And like, let's both of us build these big walls where no one's talking to each other, right? And at those moments, it's the kind of bring what you mentioned earlier is being vulnerable and just being really transparent and go and just even tell them straight up, like tell you how you're feeling. I don't like how this feels. I don't feel like I can't feel like I can't talk to you about something, or I feel like it's really hard to, get you to engage with me or listen, right? By sharing with them how you're feeling and how you do want to interact with them, just let them know and just be like, hey, are you willing to work with me to figure this all self out? It really just takes one side to kind of climb over that wall, let it down, and go, hey, I because I care about you, I want to have us to have a good relationship. Can we work through this? Right? It's having that vulnerability and going, yeah, they might continue going, well, I don't feel like talking to you right now. This is not the good time. Then just go, okay, well, can we create time to actually talk about the situation? And you could be very upfront going, hey, this is the thing that I'm concerned about or worried about. Could you think about it and let's get back, let's meet some other time to like talk about this in depth, right? Just kind of almost schedule that in a sense, because by doing so, you're giving them context of what you're having issues with. That gives them time to really think about it and go, oh, how did this happen? What are the issues? Why am I feeling this way about the situation? Right. And then when you come together as a couple to talk about it, it can be more, let's work through this and let's figure it out. Right. So, yes, it does take two people to engage and kind of tear down those walls, but one side has to say, my ego is not more important than this relationship. That my pride, what I think I feel it's right or wrong, that shouldn't matter at that moment. What should matter most is how do I reconnect with my partner to reconnect our relationship and rekindle that connection, because the stonewalling on both sides, it's not helping anyone else out, right?
I know. It's just like it probably has like a weird energy if you're living
Yeah.
together. And it's probably like a weird energy in the household, or if you're doing errands together, not talk. I mean, I don't even know how that would actually.
Yeah.
But I noticed that when my husband and I go out, well, because we don't go out to clubs, we don't go out to we go out to restaurants, but we don't drink alcohol there. He
Mhm.
doesn't drink at all. We enjoy like nature, and we enjoy conversations with each other, and just no distraction, just we're with nature. And
Mhm.
it's we were recently on Martin Luther King Day on Monday. We were
Mhm.
recently at Mirror Woods. If you've been there, you're from the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've never been there.
Oh
And
my gosh.
like all my life. And he's been here for a long time. And so I'm like, let's go check it out. So we had no kids at that time. It was just he and I. We went on this adventure. We went to go in the redwoods, and then we took a side trail, and it was like a hike forever up. And then we finally decided, oh, maybe we'll cut across there, even though it was blocked, right? It was like an
Uh-huh.
adventure. So doing construction, do not enter this way. But
Uh,
we're like, we saw some other people going there. Well, let's just go. I don't want to walk another mile uphill and then go downhill for another 3 miles or whatever. And so we cut across, and there's all this construction stuff. It's like so much fun. You have like these miniature adventures, and you appreciate each other more because you're not distracted by who's he looking at? Is he looking at her? Which I don't anyway, but I just use an example. or
uh,
or this, or just getting things like you said in the head. In the head. Right. So I wanted to know, in your coaching, how do you address the challenges of setting and respecting, of course, your healthy boundaries in dating?
yeah, and yes, this is definitely really important. I think this kind of ties back to what I was saying before, like, my old self of being like a people pleaser and like the nice girl and all that. I allowed people to cross my boundaries and go, it's okay. Like I would find excuses, go, oh, it's okay for them to do that, right? And I think that's why there's so much conversation about self-care and enforcing boundaries and stuff like that. But there's definitely a different way of approaching it, not just going boundary. I set up another wall. Boundary is a wall, don't cross it or else, right? Like it's more about, hey, turn that into a conversation with your partner or and just go, hey, for me, I feel like this isn't okay. And these are examples of where I felt like you've crossed my boundary, right? Just be really clear, but be very specific about what they are so they know, oh, I didn't realize by doing that equaled crossing your boundaries. We're getting really clear examples of telling them what it is, examples of when it happened, and be sure to do it without any blame. It's just going, hey, by doing this made me feel insecure, made me feel, that you didn't care, or whatever it is, right? But you tell them really clearly, this action made you feel this way, right? And when you do that, then let them know it's like, hey, here's an example, or here's a solution. Like, hey, if you maybe in the situations you could do this instead. So you offer them a potential answer or potential way of doing it to make you feel better or not feel like your boundaries being crossed, and have that conversation with them, right? Like setting a boundary is being very clear about what how has that violated your values, or how has that violated, made you feel not good enough, or whatever it is, right? By expressing that and then sharing examples of how it didn't work out and how it can work out, you're having a conversation and you can set your partner up for success, right?
Yeah, it's you're supposed to be rooting each other on. You're together
Yeah.
for a reason. You have to remember the common denominator, why you got together. What?
Uh,
And I think people so often forget like why they fell in love with their partner. You
mhm.
know, and it's nice to remember those moments, kind of like think back in those days and what has changed between then and now. And then somehow go see you if they need
And I think this is
help.
the part where I think how it starts to change differently is people feel like I have more options. There's easy ways out. I don't have to put in the effort, or if this doesn't work out, I'm just gonna leave, right? There's so much like belief of like, fine, if this doesn't work out, I'm gone. And that belief doesn't help, because in a partnership, in a relationship, you want to feel like your partner has your back, who could support you no matter what, right? Through life's ups and downs, which is plenty, right, in our life, of how to find and build that relationship where your partner and you and your partner could support each other through thick and thin, help each other through problems and issues, then going, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm out, right? Like that belief is what's causing a lot of issues. And I think another issue is people are not communicating ahead of time and building a strong foundation for that relationship. So there are plenty of people, you probably think of your own experiences, right? Even definitely in mine too, where I didn't communicate what I needed and wanted and just assumed my partner would just do it, or they know or understand, and it doesn't happen, right? Or this conversation you just don't talk about. It's like the elephant in the room, or you walk at eggshells, like, no, we don't talk about that. And those are actually reasons why your relationship is not working out, because
Right.
you didn't have those conversations. And when you have those conversations and you understand each other better, that's how you actually build that foundation, right? Anytime you feel like I can't tell my partner something, you have to understand, why are you feeling that way? And what's holding you back from actually just telling your partner what that is? Another part, the vulnerability coming out of going, you have to tell your partner what you want, because they can't read your mind, right? No one can read your mind. No matter how long you've been with that person, they can't read your mind. So you have to vulnerably and openly share what that is.
Yes. Yeah. Because they can't read your mind.
I
And I always tell my husband, I'm not a mind reader. So it's so funny that you said that. I said, I don't know. Now, I'm going to go back to my first marriage, right?
Yeah.
So this is in my heavy drinking,
Mhm.
drinking very heavily. He was too, but get this. He was the one enabling me, not saying, hey, maybe
Mhm.
perhaps you have a problem. We just come to the conclusion that I had a high tolerance.
Yeah.
No, but he was an enabler, and I was like, I don't like divorce. I don't like breakups. I don't like if you find someone you truly love and you're really passionate with each other, make it work somehow. The only way to make it work is if you work together with it. But I was going to say that he would always give me alcohol. And he actually had some codependency issues I didn't know, realize in the past. And he wanted me to stay at a certain state. I don't know why. Maybe just to be where he was, because he was also an addict in the past with narcotics and then would partake in whatever I was doing, which was mostly drinking. So we would just drink all the time, but we would fight, obviously, because we're drinking so heavily. We're not in our right state of minds. We're inebriated. It feels like we're being possessed by something else. That's probably why they call it spirits. You know, who knows, right? But
Yeah.
how do you actually help your clients navigate issues of codependency, which can particularly be like in my story, very challenging in sobriety?
Mhm. Yeah, I think in those moments, it's understanding why codependency happens, right? Codependency happens, and since I don't know your ex-husband, I can't speak for him, but a potential possibility is that he was worried about you leaving him. If you change, if you stop drinking alcohol, you might not love him for who he is anymore. So he kept you in that state to continue the same pattern that you guys had over and over again, because one, it's comfortable. That means that you're still with him, that you're not leaving him, right? So it's codependency happens when you have this void within you of feeling not enough, not good enough, and you need that other person to fill that void. So you keep them at a certain state, or you keep repeating same relationship patterns, because that in your past, I feel like if I kept doing this, that person will stay. If I keep doing this, this is the result that'll happen, right? And if any change happens, that scares them. Okay, oh my God, that changes if you start getting sober again, or if you just like just if different situations in your life changes, then you can't repeat the same pattern that felt comfortable for him, right? So in those moments of codependency, it's to really take a step back and go, you have to find within yourself first of, does this feel right? What feels off? It's understanding yourself of what is okay, what's not okay with you anymore. And actually have that conversation with your partner. It's going to be uncomfortable. It could be really challenging, especially if that person just doesn't understand or can't verbalize why they're feeling that way. But the point is, you have to be the one to stand up for yourself and go, yes, I love you, I care about you. And because I care, we have to do something different, because this is not good for both of us in the long term, right? And
Yeah.
I think there's a part too, just I just want to share a little bit about even the self-confidence part of, you've also given your partner the power. You gave away your power to decide and go, like, you're relying on them to kind of feel, to give you validation, to give you approval, to make you feel worthy, like all that. And no one can really do that for you. Like people can, but then if they take that away, then your self-confidence goes down, your self-worth goes down because you're like, oh, I don't have it anymore, then I'm not good enough.
Mm.
And that's when you have to go, how do I create and build my own self-worth within me? So I'm not reliant on someone else. And so no one can take that away from you.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And thank you for clarifying that for me. The
Of course.
clarity relationship coach here. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And then that's exactly why we had a divorce, is because I wanted to go on my journey of recovery, which still took a long time after we divorced. But he still wanted that lifestyle of DJing, partying, clubs. And so I couldn't be a part of that. And that is the reason why I divorced, because I noticed in sobriety, when you do get sober, those relationships you had, they're going to dissolve because you're no
Yeah.
longer relate to them anymore because you're on a different path to greater things.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So
Yeah.
how can one, I know you're not a sobriety coach or anything, but I'm just trying to think like
Yeah.
in your opinion, how do you think, what are some good things some people can do who are on their journey of sobriety? What and how to find new friends, their sober tribe, their friends, their whatever.
Yeah. I just want to kind of tie back to what you were saying about before with your ex is the
Yeah.
part of going when you get sober, when you make changes in your life, your past relationships, your past situations, they're going to start looking differently to you. And it's for you to understand that it's okay for those relationships to change. And when you let go of that, something better will open up for you, right? Because my coach, I also obviously I have my own coaches, and I worked. One of my first coaches told me that when you start changing your life, people are going to leave you. And that sounds scary, right? Going, oh my God, I'm already changing my life. That's a big deal. And now more people are going to leave me. And like, there's that sense of like, oh no, what am I doing wrong? Oh no, I need to cling on to those relationships because, I need that security. But it's real. At that moment, I actually lost one of my best friends because I changed my lifestyle too. I stopped going out drinking and partying, and I changed that lifestyle. And that person was just like, wait, how come you're not going out with me anymore? I'm like, well, that's not what I'm choosing to do. And our friendship just broke up because of that. And when I start telling her, hey, there's something better you could do, like, I want better for you. And they freak out or whatever, because they, like you said, like your ex, they wanted to keep that old pattern and you're not there anymore. So the first part, understanding it's okay for people to exit your life because you find better. Because soon after that, because I found better community, I found people who were kind of more in alignment with what I'm looking for, what I want to do with my life, that I found better friends. I found people in alignment with me to support me on this new me that I'm becoming. And when you let go and be like, it's okay. And I go back to what I was saying before, building that self-worth, that self-confidence, I will be okay. No matter what happens in my life, I will be okay. And I will find the right people. By having that belief, it makes it easier to let go of those who aren't a good fit and continue to hold on to, yes, I have that belief, I have that hope, it is going to happen, right? And I think, just being in, right, of where you want to go and how you want to change your life is believing there are people out there who feel the exact same way. So it's finding the community. It's either finding, groups like local meetup groups or local like find ways of meeting people like that. And it's actually branching out to very different, opportunities to find that and just trust that, okay, this is the new me. What would the new me want to do? Now I'm going to go do it and find the people that are in alignment of who I want to become.
Right. Yes, yes. Because I think, as we have to love ourselves too in a
Yeah.
compassionate way, not in an arrogant way. But I noticed that as I started changing, I started
Mhm.
attracting people automatically to
Yeah.
who I want to become. And I started then seeking out different mentors that are who I would want to become. And
Yeah.
so that's actually helped me in my sobriety journey, which then introduced me to other people, that I don't necessarily hang out, 'cause I don't really hang out anymore. I don't, at least I haven't made the time to hang out with people because I have the kids and family stuff, and you know how it goes. But I do keep in contact with them and we do communicate. And so it's nice to have that extra support. And I feel so much happier having
Mhm.
those friends in my life. I mean, nothing
Yeah,
wrong with the friends that I had in the past.
yeah.
Nothing's wrong. It's just, we just don't talk as much anymore. Maybe a little bit on social media, but that's about it. Because that's not who I want. That's who I was. I want
Mhm.
to become something greater. And the only way I can become something greater is if I surround myself with greatness, with great people.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's different nowadays is that you could use the internet. You could go out and find people all over the world who are like-minded, who want to grow and kind of build out the life that you want similarly, right? And actually just have those conversations. I have a lot of friends, especially during COVID. I actually met a lot of friends all over the world who I still keep in touch with on a regular basis. And it's not to feel like, oh, there's no one around me physically like that, then you're doomed. That is not the case at all, right? Like the internet has given you this opportunity of finding groups, of finding, learning about new things and like whatever it is, you could find commonality with people all over the world now. So tap into that and look for support, look for groups that you could talk to or organizations you could join or learn from coaches and mentors. And from that, because you find the same, some, you say, hey, I want to work with this coach or this mentor, that means anyone who works with that person is like-minded, and you become friends with them too.
Yes, you hang out with the people that you align with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, can you actually share an example of a success story of how your coaching has helped somebody in a relationship and your approach? Can you share a little bit about how you approach them and what you do with them and your
Mhm.
in your signature framework, I should say?
Yeah. So I think there's a really specific client where she has been single for more than 6 years. It just had a lot of stuff that happened in her past that she was reluctant to date. And, she finally was like, okay, enough is enough. And we had conversations and go, okay, yes, I could definitely help you. And the first thing, it took courage. I commend her. She took courage for her to go, I need help, right? And looking for it and find alignment, go, okay, hearing her situation. I was like, okay, yes, I could definitely help you. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk more and work together. And through my process, how I do it differently is actually, it's not just applying all the dating strategies, techniques, and all that stuff up front. It's not about creating that perfect dating profile, whatever it is, right? It's like, no, take a step back and find out within you first. What is it that and who is it that you're looking for in a relationship? It's taking that step back and find out within yourself what is it that you truly need and want. Not what your mom tells you, not what society tells you, not what your culture and whatnot tells you should or shouldn't have. It's actually dive deep into finding out who and what that person is like, who and what is that ideal relationship like for you. And when you have that clarity, then it's easier to go out and date and easier to have conversations, easier to filter out people who are good and aren't good matches because you have a clear idea that allows you to step out into the dating world a lot more confident. And you can have really clear conversations with people to go, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Are you in alignment? And that's what I helped my client with because she was like, well, I have a fuzzy idea. This is what I kind of looking for, what I want. But a lot of her qualities were a little more superficial of like, and I was like, well, okay, why is it that are those important qualities? And we worked through that and helped work through her limiting beliefs, any of her past like baggage or trauma that's really held her back. And so that combination of that really gave her the confidence and clarity to go out and go, okay, I could handle the dating world. I can maneuver what's going on and whatnot. And she was able to find someone really surprising, and I'm not surprising, but not so surprising, really quickly of, hey, this person seems like a good match. We could have conversations, things feel easy. I could be myself with him. And they were able to converse and dive into those deep questions quickly than just dance around superficial, like, hey, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Like, great, but let's find out what your relationship values are. What is important to you? What are your relationship life goals and stuff like that? And when you have those deeper conversations, when you're vulnerable and transparent about what you're looking for, you find that connection quicker and that person's more willing to accept you for who you are than this facade or this persona you're putting up of like who I should be or should be like. That's just being yourself completely. And that's how you track the right partner for you. And we worked together for about 11 weeks or so, and she met her partner there. And they got married soon after. So yeah, just like you kind of a really quick story of like found the right person really quickly and got married. And yeah, and they're building a beautiful life together.
That's amazing. Oh, I love success stories. I always love hearing success in relationships because it can happen. You can have a successful
Yeah,
relationship. uh,
totally.
yeah. So a lot of our listeners here are, on the journey of sobriety or even sober curious,
Mhm.
but everywhere, dating itself, there's alcohol everywhere. Everyone wants to,
Mhm.
hey, you want to get a drink? Want to get a drink?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I did with my husband before we got married, we
Mhm.
said, hey, you want a cup of coffee? That
Mhm.
was fun. What are some fun activities, sober activities, some people can go out on dates too?
Yeah, I think one, first off, I just want to share that it's actually good and important to be clear up front of like, hey, I want to do an activity that doesn't require alcohol because I want to get to know you. You can start off like that. You don't have to explain your whole history of what's going on. Just going, hey, this is my preference. What could we do based on that preference? Right. So you're like, hey, I'm looking for something that we're not drinking. Totally understandable, right? Then you could think of any activities. Like you said, you and your husband like to go out in nature, maybe it's doing a hike or doing a walk or just walking around the downtown area or something scenic, right? Or just, have coffee or go do an activity together of finding something exciting to do that both of you guys are interested in or never done and would like to try and go do it together. There's a part of you learn more about a person through doing an activity because you can observe how do they think through things, how can you have fun and do things together, right? Like how could you, so it's like it's a really quick way to get to understand someone. So go find an activity or suggest, or you find something that you really enjoy doing. Hey, I want to go do this, you want to come with me, right? Turn it into an invitation. So yeah, like there are definitely so many opportunities, and it really doesn't have to revolve around alcohol. And I think there's a part of people kind of rely on the alcohol because like, I'm nervous, I don't know how to handle it. Oh my God, let me just drink alcohol to give me that look of courage, right? Is to be okay to go, you know what? Breathe through it. You will be fine, right? Both of you guys are nervous. It's a first date or whatever. Like, both of you are nervous, and that's okay. And it's just, even you could be really upfront, going, hey, I'm really nervous right now, but I'm really excited to meet you and get to know you, kind of thing, right? Just even sharing that vulnerably can make that person go, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one who's nervous. Okay, okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath. Let's continue on this conversation, getting to know each other. So it's to share that it's okay not to involve alcohol. There are plenty of opportunities not to, and to be really vulnerable up front of telling what your preferences are and even sharing how nervous or how you're feeling at the moment.
I love the vulnerability piece. That's great. And another story I want to share is that my husband, because we don't drink, we went to Great America. It was during Halloween time, I think. And oh yeah, we were celebrating our wedding
Oh,
anniversary, our marriage anniversary, but our wedding anniversary is in February 1st. But we wanted to go and do something fun. So we went to Great America, and he's gonna hate me if he hears this. I hope you don't hear this, husband. I love you. Hey, vulnerability, okay?
yes.
But we went to Great America, and he's always told me he does not like roller coasters. But I see him as like this like courageous, brave man. Like he's very confident.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you got this. Let's go on this. Let's go on this. He's all, oh no, but okay, I'll go. And then so we went on what was the Patriot, the Demon ride, the some other roller coaster, and then there's another one that was like, oh, this trail blazer, I don't know, or razor, I don't know what it's called. Looks very fun and very scary. Let's try it.
Uh-huh.
Sure enough, we get on there and he's like, I'm a little dizzy. I'm like, oh, but let's go on this kitty ride, on the mouse ride, at least a little roller coaster. Maybe you'll be okay with that one since these big roller coasters are not too much.
Yeah.
Well, this was so windy. And then he threw up.
Oh
So I don't know why I'm sharing this story, but I was just saying it was an experience. I've never seen him throw up before in our whole marriage. And I felt so bad. I felt like, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, I really thought you could handle all these rides because I see you as so much more.
no.
That he's like, no, I just wanted to do it for you. I'm like, okay, never again. We'll just start off with the bumper cars or something. Go to, but we wanted to act like kids, and I feel like our inner child comes out, and it's so much fun when we do things that doesn't involve like drugs, alcohol. It's
Mm.
just we can be our natural selves, or our inner child who just
Yeah,
enjoys life and is so innocent and having fun. So that's what I appreciate is we had a great time at Great America.
absolutely. And I just want to share that he was vulnerable with you by
Yeah.
doing something so outside of
Literally.
don't, yeah, right. Literally, yeah. Very uncomfortable, but because he cares about you, he's willing to do it with you because he knew that it made you happy. And he was very vulnerable. Go like he threw up. And those moments of throwing up, not feeling well, like those are very vulnerable moments to show your partner, show anyone, right?
Yeah.
So to go like and you like you showing you appreciate him, like, well, thank you for doing this with me, and like, sorry I made you feel that way, but you also gave him that acknowledgement of going, you stepped out of your comfort zone for me, and I really appreciate it. So even just having those little nuances, I think nowadays people don't really say that enough, and people
Mhm.
feel taken for granted because they don't share that to go, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing what you've done. I see you doing something outside your comfort zone. I see you for doing something for me, for our relationship. And just it doesn't hurt anyone, right? It doesn't cause any extra, it does cause extra effort because you have to say it, but that extra effort gives acknowledgement and shows that you appreciate your partner. And it's also, hey, little side hint, side note, that shows your partner what that person needs to do to make you happy. So you're
Yeah.
sharing with them, I appreciate you for doing it. I acknowledge you, but also this, what you just did made me happy. So they're more willing to do it again for you because you acknowledge that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I know people are blown away. Like, you know what? I want to start my, I'm sober now. I want to start a relationship. Where can people find you and find you on social media?
Yeah, so my social media handle is thoughtfully cat. So you could find me on Twitter, on Instagram, and Threads. And you could actually, I think you'll probably have this link in the show notes that I actually have a gift and special offer for your podcast listeners. That in the show notes, you can go download my free guide. It's not a numbers game, how to stack the deck in your favor to find your soulmate fast. And also a 20% off discount on my digital version of my guided journal. And so my guided journal is called Love, Vision, Clarity and has tons of conversational prompts for you to help you discover who and what you truly want in a relationship to help you feel loved, happy, and fulfilled. Yeah, of
Wow. Thank you so much for doing that. Yay. Our
course.
audience has a special treat from Kat.
Yes.
That's great. Any last thoughts or anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think that's something that I do want to share and kind of be really kind of a reminder for people that your request is not a demand. Your request is a conversation, an opportunity for you and your partner to actually become closer as a couple. So when you ask for something, use it as a conversation opener of going, hey, this is something important to me. Hey, I'm not feeling good about this thing, or this thing is bothering me. Like, can we have a conversation about it? And to remember, it is a conversation. It's a two-way thing. So set your partner up for success, set yourself up for success by sharing vulnerably and telling them what's on your mind. Because remember, they can't read your mind no matter how long you've been with them. So be vulnerable and share.
Beautiful, Kat. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. It's been an honor, and I just am so excited about your free gift here. I was like, oh, I love that. I wish I had that, but I'm okay now.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Kat.
of course.